Are you ready for the holiday haul? I have to admit, I didn't buy as many books as I expected, but I'll talk more about what I thought about the book buying after I showed you the books, because that's why you're here. In New York, I only bought 3 books, which is mainly due to the fact that I didn't have any space or weight left in my luggage because I was carrying stuff to my friend. So I went to the Strand and I loved the bookstore. It was amazing. It had everything. And I found 3 books I was interested in. I found The Foundation by Isaac Asimov, which I've read already and liked. Same goes for Down the Rabbit Hole by Juan Pablo Villalobos. And I also found an art copy for a second book in a series that I've been meaning to buy for ages, and this was just $1, so I just went for the art copy. And it's The Girl Who Fell Beneath Fairyland and Led the Rebels There by Catherine M. Valente, so I can continue this series. That's a good thing. In Los Angeles, I went to the Last Bookstore, and this is a really amazing bookstore. They sell used books and new books mixed together, and they have an attic where they have tons of books. It's like the labyrinth, they call it, and there are just endless paperbacks, and you can spend days in there. And I bought a few more books, so let's look at those. I found a copy of The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Alexi Sherman, which I've been recommended a lot and been meaning to read for quite some time now. I also found a copy of The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. I'm not really sure if I'm going to like this because I read one Michael Chabon book which I didn't really like, but this got an award and I've been meaning to read more award books, so I've been buying some. And for that exact same reason, I bought The Sea by John Banville. I've never read a book by him and I thought, why not start with his award-winning one? The Skin of the Lion by Michael Ondaatje is a book that I think Jason from the Heavy Blanks recommended highly. I hope I'm not confusing the books and bought the wrong one. But when I saw this for just $5, I couldn't resist. A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius by Dave Eggers is a book that I've been meaning to buy for, I don't know, forever. I've been meaning to read a Dave Eggers book for a very long time, so now I have one. The Brief History of the Dead by Kevin Brockmeyer I bought because I recognized the cover and I remember that I talked to someone about it, but I don't remember who and what we talked about it. But it was very cheap, so I just took it. I also finally found myself a Christopher Moore book, Lamb. I've been meaning to read another Christopher Moore book for a very long time now, and Lamb sounded always very interesting. Unfortunately, it's not that nice cover that looks like a Bible, but this was cheap and I found it and I'm already reading it. It's kind of fun. The last 5 books are part of a series that has been written like ages ago, and I have read some of those books, but not a lot, and they're hard to find. So I was very happy when I saw 5 books in not bad condition, very cheap, of this series. It's a myth series by Robert Asprin. So I have Myth Alliances, Myth the Improbable, Little Myth Marker, Sweet Mystery of Life, and Missing Persons. It's a funny fantasy series about a magician and his demon friend and how they travel through parallel universes and dimensions and stuff. I don't really remember the details because I've read it as a teenager, so I'm really happy to do that again. As you can see, I didn't buy that many books, and they're not really eclectic like my usual book hauls where I pick up books that I've never heard of. And that's because I didn't really find a lot that I liked. I noticed that shopping in England, I see different books, and that's why I wanted to mention this, because we talk a lot about diversity, and I know that Rinsey always says that the diverse books are not presented in America, and I was always like, I don't understand that. When I go into a bookshop in England or here in Germany, I see a lot of different authors, I see a lot of diversity, but it's not that way automatically in America. When I went to the Strand, I saw basically on the display tables all the books that BookTube's been talking about. Like all my friends here on BookTube, they have read most of these books and recommended. I could have bought everything there. But most of these books were the ones everybody talks about. There was nothing new. There was nothing that was like, oh, what is this? And for that, I would have had to look into the aisles and into the real sections and knew what I was looking for, but they were not displayed. The same goes for the Last Bookstore. The bookstore was great, but there were very few display tables, and going through the aisles, I didn't really see anything that struck my fancy, and I don't know if I wasn't in the mood for it or if it just wasn't there. But that doesn't mean that you cannot find diversity in American bookstores. I also went to the Small World Books. It's an independent bookstore at Venice Beach, and they have great displays and a lot of diversity and a lot of books that they show and highlight, which are not only by the white male authors. So that was my experience on finding diverse books in America, which I've never noticed before because I've never really paid attention to it. But that was very interesting, that independent bookstores give you a bigger variety and more support of diverse reading, whereas bigger bookstores and used bookstores just give you what people read. And apparently that's the bestsellers and white men. Thank you for watching till the end if you're still here, and tell me what you thought of the books I bought.